Here we go, my adventures in square foot garden, starting a new season, 2015. As you can see, the compost setup is still cooking. It's been going all winter. It was covered with the snow. Be picking up around here. We had a couple casualties. So we get everything in order. This is all going to be this year moved out away from here to the other section of the yard, the far corner of the yard. And the big casualty is the shed, the tent shed. If you remember last year, I said this tent shed would soon be used to park my new motorcycle. Well, the shed took a limb from up here to the Widowmakers, and it fell, and when the snow punctured the top of the tent shed, and when the snow built up on it through this past winter, of course it caved in. So no tent shed. I'm gonna have to come up with another plan because the motorcycle is here. So we're gonna have to come up with a different plan. Again, Adventures in Square Foot Garden, starting 2015. Time for cleanup after a pretty rough winter. Alrighty, so welcome to my Adventures in Square Foot Gardening on April 13th. Figured I'd give you a tour of what's going on so far. The new machine, Neetahka is her name, Neetahka. Eagle. In Aurora, Native American. This is what we got going on here. I decided to give that little patch a try. If it works out well, we will be expanding on that. Changing some of this up here on this wall also. Of course, I want to grow something that I can eat, but Mrs. Grablin has a different train of thought for this area. So me, if I'm going to plant it, I want to be able to eat it. Also thinking about doing something across the bottom over here with some vegetables underneath the window. That's the ramp that I put over here so I can go over these pond stones. Now I'll take y'all back and show you what's going on with the actual square foot garden area. And again, Neetahka from every angle. From every angle, of course, every angle. She's beautiful. And to be honest with you, I could afford her because of my growing vegetables last year. I saved a lot of money, not all of it, but saved me a good portion of my grocery bill each week and every month. And now we're coming onto the patio, the actual square foot gardening area. As last year, we started a compost pile. Started the compost pile last year, but for convenience we left this container here, and throughout the winter we dumped our scrap food, non-dairy and non-meat products, vegetable and fruit only basically went in there, so that worked out pretty good. This, and then this will move through a cycle, which is all of this is going to be moved very shortly next week to the far corner of the property. So right now, here's the process that's been going on. It goes from the can into here, into this one, and then it's compost ready. It's ready to use here at this point. This again was where the shed was. We had a pretty severe winter, so the tent shed, after one of the branches tweaked the hole in the tent shed, because my landlord is an extreme tree hugger and will not trim his trees, Well, one of the branches fell, tweaked the top of the tent, and when the snow got on it this winter, because we had a bad one with winter snowstorms, that was where my motorcycle was supposed to go. But the tent that was right here, of course, collapsed from the weight of the snow. Enter plan B. Right here to about right there is where the new shed is going to be built. I'm looking at having a lean-to that comes out to that post edge with gutters and rain barrel, rainwater is going to come down over to here. If I can rig that up somehow and feed the beds. See, got the Harley-Davidson shirts not far from me. I'm outside working in just my jeans, which I never do, and sneakers. But now that the motorcycle is here, always ready to go on a motorcycle. Always. And here are the two beds from last year. This is the bed from last year, one of the two. As you can see, work has begun on the third bed. So as we come over in this corner right here, this is also going to be rain barrel. Up in this corner, be the rain barrel. And like I said, with a lean-to here and having rain gutters and maybe some hoses running off, we'll be able to keep this area well watered without really using any of the water. Just try to run off of the existing water. And again, you may notice that this bed is going to be made out of wood. Slightly cheaper, not much cheaper. Will rot, we know that. As opposed to concrete beds, which are not so easy to move. This one should be pretty easy to move. It'll be made, it'll be screwed. Ain't even been screwed yet. And then brackets on the corners. 2 brackets on all 4 corners. That's the plan. Compost. Mixing it up from last year. And making my own to follow this. Again, these two are in the process. There's enough compost here that I made and that I had left over from last year from the other two to plant another. Plant another 4 by 4 square foot garden. So that's the plan. Rain barrels that corner, 3 beds. I'll get the layout later. Key is right now, keep everything moving so I'm feeding myself and saving myself some money so that the money can be saved to put the shed right here to house the motorcycle. If all goes well, it's a lean-to right here with gutters, a walkway in from the rain gutters. Water will drip down a hose into the bed. Entryway right here over shed. That'll allow me storage in the back during the winter months for the motorcycle. Neetahka. She will love being close by in the wintertime instead of being far away in storage some strange place. I think she'd rather be right outside of Papa's door. And again, all this will be getting cleared out in the next week or so. Hanging plants will be up here in the corner. This year, we're going to try to utilize this wall a little bit and go vertical. And see what we can get up against that wall without damaging the shingles, because we do rent the property. Everything really goes my way, then this gate will be moved to this corner, straight in line with the door entryway to the shed. A little modification down here, and taking down these bushes would allow me to drive Neetahka straight into the shed, turn it around in a little area, and back her in when she's in use. Again, ideally, the gate gets moved from here to there, a couple feet at the pole, entryway to the lean-to shed that has gutters running down to feed water with hoses to 3 square foot gardens, 4x4 square footers. And all this composting area will be in the back corner of the property, where composting should be done. Back corner of the property, down by the tires, up in that corner. You can see my pile of browns. In the corner go the greens, then we feed it with the browns. Greens being long clippings in the food. You see that greens. By composting right here for 2 years and rushing it along, of course, with a lot of water and tossing it every 3 weeks, I would love to be able to fill this in with a raised bed garden from the trees to the berry bushes, right straight down like this, and have some kind of square foot gardening going on out here. Have to worry a little bit more about critters, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right now, because there's no meat products, dairy products there, no critters. Absolutely none. Excellent way to do it. Vegetable, fruit only. Get an idea. Look at the land. When I talk about widowmakers, look at what's here. Just in this little corner of the property. How not taking care of your trees. This is just plain, it's wrong right here. This is wrong. Because it's wrecking your property. They need to be trimmed back, cut down, something, but you can't even walk out here without worrying about if somebody's going to die from one of the widowmakers. Terrible. It's a terrible thing, and it's one of my pet peeves, and it's really angering me now because it was hanging over the patio where the tent shed was, and nobody trimmed it, and that's why I don't have a place to park my bike. So now I'm pissed, as the saying goes. But back to square foot gardening. Watch this change in the next few weeks. We'll see what we can get out of this area to eat this year. And this is where it begins again for this season. Again, probably shed lean-to right here. Gutter system. When the water goes down, it'll go into a gutter and down, dripping over the 3 square foot gardens, 4x4 square foot. This year, it's the wall. We're going to utilize that. Got something in the works. It's where all the sun shines most of the day. And the new bed, which was made for, I don't know, about $4, $5 cheaper than the cinder block one, and it's just easier to move. If it holds up for 2 years, 3 years, it's probably the best way to go. I mean, never having to replace it. I'm not one for consumables, so I really don't like consumables. The whole idea is to not consume stuff when you do something like this. So, but yep, those are the 3 buckets of compost that I've been working on since last summer and last spring, and this is the bed that it's in. It's all mine. None of it is from the store. None of it is store bought. We'll see how that works. And again, the shed, gutters, rainwater to water. That compost barrel after this, what's in there is just for buckets. So because I do some bucket planting as well in the front. And after that, that compost tumbler, that moves to the corner of the property also. And we're off. And when I say the corner of the property, I mean down there where the tires are. We're going to be growing some potatoes in those tires. We'll give it a try again this year over there in that where it's a little bit more shady. It's very shadier. Again, the need for a lean-to shed right here. All of it. I mean, with the exception of the can. Well, all of that. It's all stuff that I use year to year, day to day. Same thing right here. It's all part of it. Next week we'll be working on the yard cleanup. Get all these dead branches over in the pile. But that's it. So this week, I believe, with my square foot garden, maybe do some little cleaning up tomorrow. I don't know, but for right now, we're just going to leave it right here. What kind of stock? Because I didn't have any seedlings going. Going to be checking into that this Tuesday and Wednesday. Start a second crop inside, small little greenhouse, tabletop greenhouse or something, maybe. Anyway, I'm out. Later. Peace.